I got two a little bit low. Right there. Hit too low and then got off free. Hi, this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Got some rain today, so I'm filming this part kind of back in the woods, kind of get a little shelter, so to speak. But today we're going to talk about the Taurus 856. Now, you've probably heard a lot about this gun. So far, no one's done a review yet with the matte stainless. And as far as the Taurus steel revolvers, this is what I prefer. But we're going to talk about this gun, about some things that have to do with holsters, ammunition, and whether this would make a good concealed carry gun. First off, let's talk about Taurus snubbies. Over the last 4 years, I've owned 5 of them. I've owned 2 of the 85s, which are 5-shot 38s. I've also owned 2 of the 605s, which are 357. And this is my second favorite gun next to my Smith & Wesson Model 64. I've also owned a poly protector 605 and 357. Now, the only one of those 5 guns that I've had issues with was the poly protector. And my personal opinion, polymer just does not hold up in a revolver. And the poly protector, it kept falling apart, the screws would come loose. It was a great shooting gun when it worked, but it got out of time. I broke the sight off and I gave it to a friend because I was very disappointed in it. So I tend to prefer the Taurus steel revolvers. And so far I've had very good results with every one I've owned. Now, one thing you do need to do, I had a matte black 605 357 that I gave to another family member, but I did carry that gun for quite a while. When I first got it, especially with the matte black, I found that it was extremely dry. I don't know if they heat treated it or not. The cylinder would not move freely. It was hard to open the cylinder, and it was extremely dry to the touch. I didn't even like picking the gun up. And I had to oil it internally and externally a good bit before everything was in working order. Now, when I say internally, you know, drop some behind the hammer, you know, drop some at the cylinder release, and then drop some on the ejector rod. And then also on the surface of the gun, I had to oil it a good bit. And once again, I don't know what kind of treatment they did to that gun, but it was extremely dry. Now, on this particular gun, the 685, all it needed was a little dab of oil here, and then a little dab of oil behind the hammer. Now with my matte stainless revolvers, what I like to do is to use some metal polish on it, and over time it starts to get more of a satiny appearance. And I also oil the outside surface of these guns. Now as far as speed loaders, it takes both the speed loader from the Model 10 and also the one from the Detective Special, as far as the H&K. It's not quite as hard to manipulate to load it as it is with an 85 or a J-frame revolver, but it's not quite as easy as a K-frame revolver to load. Now as far as holsters, this is the Galco Combat Master, and it fits pretty good in this gun. Now this is made according to the Optics Planet website. It's made for an SP101, a Taurus 605, a Detective Special, or the 856. However, the 605 rides a little bit too loose. The cylinder on the 856 is a little bit wider. Now this is a Blackhawk speed holster for a J-frame, and they're very inexpensive. I think I paid about 30 bucks for this. I've carried everything from Smith & Wesson 642 to the 85 to the 605, and the 856 fits fine in this holster, and you see it stretches to accommodate it. I like these holsters. They're fairly secure. They're not as secure as if you had some type of strap or a thumb brake, but they are fairly secure. Now as far as pocket carry, this is the DeSantis pocket holster. You know, I use this once again for everything from a 642 to my 605. However, 685, it's got a very snug fit. It's not going to be quite as easy to get out of a pocket. So I would probably try to find something different if I was going to pocket carry. Also, for me personally, this is because of the thicker cylinder, this is a little bit too much for me to pocket carry. So I'm probably going to stick with the 5-shot revolvers. And this is what I think may happen. You know, right now Taurus has discontinued the 5-shot 85s, but I think what will happen is they'll probably bring it back in a couple of years. And one thing that I've noticed is that in the Latin American countries, and you see some of the reviews on YouTube, they're selling this gun with a 3-inch barrel, which I think would be a very ideal carry gun and very versatile. But it would be a outside the waistband carry in a secure holster. And I look to see maybe Taurus marketing this gun in 3 inches next year, and possibly bringing back the 85 in a couple of years. But who knows? We'll see. So what's my impression? Well, it's like all the Taurus snubbies that I've owned. You know, it seems to, except for that poly protector, it seems to be very durable, and they're also very accurate. They're more accurate than I am. So I would highly recommend this gun either in the stainless or in the matte black. Just remember what I said about oiling the one that's matte black. Now as far as ammunition, it said the manual says you can shoot +P out of it, although it doesn't necessarily recommend that you shoot +P all the time. What I was shooting today was the Remington 125 grain +P, which on the +P end of things, it's kind of on the lower end. I don't feel any recoil with this round. You know, those rubber grips absorb the recoil very well. I don't see any problem with running this particular round through that gun. Now, one last thing before I sign out. If you've noticed, I have a new hat. This is a Bailey. It's not an Indiana Jones hat. He had a fedora. This is an all-weather hat. And I have several of these. You've probably seen my khaki one in a lot of my earlier videos. It's still around. It has not retired. But I got this hat at a dry goods store in Pickens, South Carolina called Brock's. Seems like I paid $35 for it. But man, this is great when it's raining like it is today. So this is Greg with Lionquestfitness, reminding you to always be prepared for the unexpected.